Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Radiant Black podcast, where once you go Radiant Black, you never go back. I'm your host, Bash, and I'm joined by my friends and fellow hosts, Charlie, Matt, and Eddie. How's everyone doing today?
Man, very good. End of the week. Kind of all. I'm not gonna lie. Always a bittersweet time once we get through such a high of Invincible, and then we go to the end of the week, and we're looking for it. We don't have it up there, and we gotta wait another year.
Yeah.
But hey, we got Daredevil on. It was a crazy week of comics this week. Green Lantern coming back. Hush 2 started. Absolute Manhunter had some good stuff there. So yeah, it's been a good week for everything other than Invincible, but we got Radiant Black back, so I can't complain. How are you, Matt?
Good. There's been some deaths in some superhero properties lately, but other than that, we're rolling with the punches. Just got back from Ottawa last week. Did stand up gauntlet. Did like 6 shows in 7 days, which is freaking.
Nice.
Met some cool
Hell
people.
yeah.
Had some fun there. Last night at Yuck Yucks, the host was hammered. Introduced me as the wrong person. So you adapt. You adapt. It was a sloppy night, I'll tell you. But bunch of comedians coming together to get someone like it was obliterated. Got his ass home. So that was last night for me. Happy to have Radiant Black back. It's really awesome to have such greatness back to being monthly, and I'm down to talk about it. How you doing, Ollie?
I'm doing great. Kind of like Charlie said, it's been a great week for comics, a lot of good comics to read, and it's always a good week when you have Radiant Black. But sad about Invincible too. Daredevil has been pretty cool so far, but at least with Invincible, hopefully, according to what they said, we get it on a yearly basis now. Don't have to wait too long.
I don't know what the fuck you guys are talking about. Once I saw Best Tiger and Tech Jacket, I was like,
Yes.
I'm good. I'm good. I don't need anything more. Like, you end the show here. Like, I'm happy. You did everything I wanted. Thank you. Bye bye. Like
Plus Business
that was,
Baby, which is a
yeah,
special
that
treat
was,
for show viewers.
Yep.
yeah. And
so
you
good.
guys like see the shout out to Circle Guy News, aka the Invincible podcast. Those guys just interviewed Robert Kirkman. It's such a good interview. And one of the things they talk about, this is a slight tangent here. They were asking about the Battle Beast book, and one of them, I believe it was TJ, but I don't remember exactly. Maybe it was Ryan. I'm sorry, guys. They were asking Kirkman like whether we're going to see a lot of Invincible things in Battle Beast since it takes place between Invincible 19 and 55. And Kirkman was like, "Oh, we're going to see tons of Invincible related things, tons of species, tons of areas, and then now he said, not only that, but we're going to get new species, new people, new planets, new all that." So I'm like super excited. It's going to feel like Invincible, like there's an Invincible book again, which is really exciting. And the first issue just sold like 400,000 copies, which is almost in the same realm as Hush 2, which is insane. Like when you think about it, like it's crazy. The blind bag thing helps, right? Like I don't know if
Invincible's
I got
huge
10.
now.
I got 10 of the blind bags. So I'm not gonna lie. So
Invincible's massive now. Look at it; it's everywhere, dude. Like it's through in the last like 3 or 4 years. Like it's really popped off. Like it's crazy.
Absolutely.
Great
Yeah.
time for this book coming out too. Like the season kind of coming to an end. That was everywhere, all over social media. So yeah, they got a good timing from that. And we got kind of spoiler, but a little bit of Battle Beast in that. So
Yeah.
this will be a lot of fun.
Yeah, I can't wait. So Radiant Black 32. Let's talk about the creative team real quick. I have some images for everybody here because why not? Let's talk about. Here, give me a second. We'll talk about the creative team on this issue, which is the huge, but we'll go through the motions. So yeah, here's the cover for Radiant Black number 32. Awesome cover. The rebuild era continues. We've got a writing team of Kyle Higgins and Joe Clark, who you guys know and love. We've had them recently on an interview. If you haven't seen that, please check it out. It was so much fun to talk to them. We've got Eduardo Ferigato on the art, who is the man, the myth, the legend. We love him. We also had him on an interview recently with Marcelo Costa. It was so much fun. Please check that out if you haven't. And there's some really good panels in this issue. I love having Eduardo as artist. Like I truly, it just feels like a blessing to have Marcelo and Eduardo and just shift between the two. But in this issue in particular, I thought there were so many classic panels of Radiant Black, which I'm going to highlight and we'll show you later down the line. So lovely.
So good at like looking like Costa's work too. Like there's parts like faces, especially. I was like, damn, this issue I really noticed. I'm like, it's seamless almost.
I agree. Yeah, and this cover is by both of them. I think Eduardo. I'm guessing because it says in the credits it's by both of them. I'm guessing Eduardo drew and Marcelo colored it. So they got Rod Fernandes on the interior colors and Becca Carey on the letters. So we've also got some covers, and here's the 1 in 25 foil variant by Jock. Yes, that Jock. Awesome cover, very hard to find. There's literally zero on eBay. I still haven't found one myself. I will do a mini rant here. While I love that Radiant Black and the Massiveverse, they're all doing 1 in 25 books, and I understand the idea. Like, I've worked in comic book stores, right? I understand the idea is to incentivize the stores to order more. I just think right now, especially with how scarce these are online, and they're selling for like in Canada for like 70 to 100 Canadian dollars, which is outrageous for a 1 in 25. Like, I just think if long term people actually want to have a chance at getting these, they should consider lowering the ratio threshold to like maybe 1 in 20 or 1 in 20 is reasonable, because honestly it's just really hard to get these, and a lot of stores, especially with the margins, the tariffs, like they don't have the means to increase copies like to 5 more copies, even if they want to, because it's just like tight right now. So I hope I don't know, I hope something changes. I hope more of these appear or something. It's just ratios right now since 31 kicked off again. They've been so hard to find. I haven't been able to find Rainy Black 31 125 or 32 120 anywhere in Canada, and I've had to pre-order all the other ratios. I found thankfully a store that sells them for pre-order. I won't mention it. Sorry guys. And I found for pre-order. I pay 65 Canadian, almost 70 after a tax to get that. So that's the cheapest I found these ratios. And I did pre-order Rogue Sun 25 125, Rogue Sun 26 125, Rogue Sun 27 125, and I ordered Radiant Black 33 125. And I had to like sell a kidney to basically be able to afford all those. So I don't know about anyone else. Like, I'm curious to hear, guys. Let us know in the comments and everything. How are you guys struggling to find these? I was even just talking to a friend before we recorded this episode, and he is a guy that I got into Radiant Black, and he was telling me he's really struggling to find the incentives in Canada as well, because no one's ordering them. So I've goaded my shop into increasing orders for Rogue Sun, so I can qualify for those incentives. But
I saw them had him on an Instagram post. I saw Radiant Black for the first time on the Stranges, and so which is good. Like, I agree with you. Lowering the threshold for incentives would further incentivize people, and the economy isn't great right now, and it would also do good things in just helping move stuff, because everyone's kind of hurting, and it'd be nice to just move it. Because let's face it, as amazing as the artwork is, it's not like it's a big thing to lower the threshold for this and print more of these, because they can print it just as easily as they can print the other covers. It's just
like I think 1 in 20 is reasonable, just lowering the threshold 5 copies, because I think most stores can do, like, I can get 5 more copies. If we're 10 or 15, we can make that happen. But 25 is just, for an indie series that's over 30 issues in, it's just a lot. Like, you look at books like Usagi Yojimbo or G.I. Joe or Real American Hero, those books have been going on for years, and they do 1 in 10s, because those actually, like, stores I've seen all the time increase their orders to qualify for those. As a matter of fact, like, I'm a big Sonic fan, and Sonic has historically only done 1 in 10s, and I've several times asked my store, like, order me these 3 copies, I'll pay the difference so I can qualify for this. But like I said, 1 in 20 I think is more reasonable, where it's like a compromise on both sides. But 1 in 25, the only stores I've seen that have these books are Midtown, and I as a Canadian right now living in Canada, I don't really want to buy from America. Look, sorry, not to get any political or anything like that. Just like with the tariffs and everything, financially.
Yeah, but let's talk Teslas in this issue, though. Do you want to talk about that?
No. Yeah. But, the exchange rate is like 35% here, so it's like I don't want to be paying on my ass for a ratio. Like, anyway. Rent done, but we love these covers. I'm a huge completist, so I do want to get all of these occasionally. But I will say right now, even if you go on eBay, there's 0 copies of this. Not just in Canada, all over eBay. There's 0 copies of this book. So it's a bitch to find. Yeah. And next cover we've got is the Ricardo Rivaldo connecting covers. So this is the second piece of the connecting covers. We got one for 31, this is for 32, and it seems like they're going to go all the way to 34, 35. Can't wait. You guys know we're sucker for connecting covers. I'm grabbing all of these. Yeah, they're going to be hard to find, like, in the long term. Like any open order ratio, they're going to be hard to find. I was trying to find the Stefano Simeone covers that he did of The Walking Dead. There's the 4 connecting covers. He did 2 for Radiant Black. 1 for Rogue Sun, 1 for Dead Lucky. The Dead Lucky one's like really hard to find. Like really, really hard to find. So yeah. Anyway, let's get into this issue, ladies and gentlemen. So those are the creator credits. Let's dive right in. So this issue we pick up exactly from the last issue, and there's even a previously page we can read to you. So previously, best friends Nathan Burnett and Marshall Ward discovered the Radiant, a cosmic artifact that let them become the superhero Radiant Black. The robot army known as Catalyst came to Earth seeking to challenge Radiant Black in a series of trials for control of the Radiant and the fate of the planet. With Nathan as Radiant Black, he and Marshall briefly visited an alternate timeline, one where Marshall had taken the mantle and, having lost Nathan and hundreds of thousands of civilians, took his place at Premier's side. Returned to their own timeline, Marshall built a weapon to separate the Radiants from their wielders. Cut off from their god, the Catalyst army fled, and Nathan permanently relinquished control of the Radiant to Marshall before leaving Chicago. As Chicago rebuilds, Marshall attempts to step up and be the best Radiant Black he can, but a terrifying new threat targeting refugees from the alternate timeline lurks in the shadows. There you go. Of course, the terrifying threat they're referring to is Jaeger. Jaeger's first appearance was the last issue, a very cool new villain who seems to be someone who came from the other timeline and seems to have a vendetta against Radiant Black for everything that happened during the Catalyst War. So let's get into it. You were saying something about Teslas. Take it away.
I actually, with Jaegers, I actually had a free Jaeger bomb the other day, my own first Jaeger bomb, so that's cool. But and that it doesn't go with the system well, just like Jaeger trying to fit in here. The Tesla stuff, this is interesting, right? Because like, did we get this completely resolved? Like, this is the new gang, right? But this guy's obviously prepared. So you have these guys that sport the yellow shades or the orange shades or whatever, and then it's a Tesla. And like, I think it was Joe on Twitter was saying like, "Oh yeah, we didn't play in this, but we're pretty pumped to get it pretty timely with the Tesla."
Oh wow, okay,
yeah.
They couldn't have done this if they wanted to. You know, to plan it like this is crazy. And yeah, no. What do you guys think of the scene? I still don't quite know. Like, did we get the resolution on this? Like, who is this guy?
No, I don't think we know. My kind of taking on it was people are just starting to get a handle on this alien tech. For no one readers, this really reminded me of Prop 87. I think it was called just like 100%. And basically for people who didn't read it, they made a law where like if you were threatened or blackmailed, like you're legally allowed to like defend yourself, kill people,
self-defense.
So that's kind of what this reminded me of. But also kind of reading this through the second time, this new gang is kind of an interesting threat. We see they're Spanish, obviously, and I'm obviously they're doing bad things. They're trying to steal cars. I think I'm kind of under the assumption that they're going around and trying to take all this alien tech they can out of people's hands. So I think in their minds, maybe they're trying to do a good thing, because we can talk about that more later, why I think that specifically, but I'm not so sure these guys are as bad as they're let out to be. But yeah, they lead us to a new villain later, which is very cool. But man, I do just have to say, going through these two issues, and I wasn't expecting this, but I really miss Nathan on these. Like I really miss Nathan, and I kind of I didn't realize how much I took those two issues for granted. Kind of like getting the double issues, one perspective of one each. So yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to the next time we get to meet up with Nathan. But yeah, an awesome Marshall issue here, and I think this leads to a very, very interesting point here too, is where he goes to the doctors, and we find out he's been actually getting injured where he hasn't in the past.
Bro, it looks like he went cupping.
literally. Yeah. What'd you guys think of this twist?
I thought it was cool, but I thought it was really funny. This issue has a lot of levity, which I really appreciated. It seems to be doubling down on the humor, and I really like that. I thought it was like a nice change of tone, and I felt like that's what was happening here between Marshall and the doctor. It's like, oh, I slipped down some stairs, and he's like, no, you didn't. He's like, I slipped down a lot of stairs, and every time I like read this page, I could hear like Will Friedle like voicing it, like you could hear that frantic, almost like, you know, he talks very fast, and just like you could hear Marshall, and I loved that. I thought it was really funny, and I just was curious. I'm like, does the doctor like? Clearly the doctor doesn't believe what Marshall's saying. Clearly, like that's a given.
Not one bit.
Does the doctor think he's Radiant Black? Like that's the one I was like, is he like smart enough to put two and two together and be like, oh, this guy's probably Radiant Black? I don't know if he went that far, but I did appreciate the comedy between the two.
Yeah, I wish we got this guy's name, because I actually really did like this character doctor as a whole here. And yeah, I honestly, this whole thing was he's getting basically hematomas, which is like when a lot of your blood, I guess, like comes outside of its blood vessels into like a localized spot from like big injuries and bruising and stuff. So
it's probably from the bomb from last.
Yeah, it's definitely from the bomb. But yeah, like are you guys assuming his like kind of him disconnecting from existence could be causing less protection on him, or why is he getting hurt now?
I think I think the tech, I think Jaeger knows more about them that he's letting on, and I think he knows how to design technology that can really hurt them. So I'm thinking like, do you remember the bomb that Marshall created during Catalyst 4 to disconnect? Yeah. I think Jaeger adapted the technology to use some of that. He basically probably has footage of Marshall from the war, or he probably extrapolated some data from that and managed to basically empower these bombs even more so that they can do more damage to the Radiants. So he's probably taking a piece from Marshall's playbook and he's using it against them.
Not to jump ahead too much, but also I'm pretty sure it also happened in last issue. Whenever he's near whatever those devices are, you could see the suit almost
glitch
dissipate in certain areas of his body. Like you see through his face. Sometimes you can see his bare hands.
Yeah.
So like that tech definitely weakens their radiant powers in some way.
Yeah, that's very true. And I also wanted to point out too, we were talking a little about this before, but kind of, and I think it's too early to ask this question, but I just feel like the kind of returning, and I think we're just gaining a footing here, but returning to Radiant Black these last couple issues, I'm just wondering maybe what the more overall threat could be, or the more overlying things that could be going on, because I know like all the first 30 issues, like we always had the Catalyst kind of overhead. We are always dealing with existence and trying to figure out who is going to be Radiant Black, and now kind of as we're back, we're really gaining our footing with Marshall as Radiant Black, which is very cool. But I don't think these 2 issues yet have really shown us what kind of the overlying threat is, or kind of what they're gonna lead to. Like I don't want to call this a filler issue, but I think probably the closest we've had to such things. So I don't know what you guys think of that.
To kind of answer your question without answering it, I guess I think this arc, at least the next few issues, if I were to guess, is not necessarily about setting something up, but more about what. Little guy,
little kitty.
Yeah, he's a guest host just for today. But yeah, I think this arc is mainly about the consequences and the fallout of whatever happened, not necessarily to have a big.
No, I agree,
we already have threats, and I would be surprised if both the gang, the tech, the like public hate towards Radiant Black and Jaeger is all resolved within this arc. Like they're planting a lot of seeds for us. And I don't know which one of them might get resolved.
Did you guys get the feeling that like Marshall is maybe thinking about leaving Earth? Like sometimes it's almost like he feels so rejected by humanity.
Fuck, I haven't got that thought yet, but
I'm starting to feel like
him. I could see that suiting him. For sure.
You know what it reminds me of? Like, do you remember in Invincible? And these massive spoilers for Invincible and Radiant Black, at least the comic, not the show. So in Invincible, I'll try to be vague. After Dinosaurus does what he does to the city, there's a period where Invincible goes through the same thing with the public, right? Like people are doubting him. Because he has that company that you see in season 3, right? Where he's like a defense contractor and he like helps like the jails and all that. That goes down the shitter after that, because his face is like the brand of his face is affected because people now associate that negatively, right? And then because of that, if you guys remember, someone has to step in for him for a while. Yes. You guys know what I'm talking about, right?
Yes.
I feel like that's what's happening similarly here, where it's like the political fallout of that story resulted in like all these changes. I feel like we're kind of exploring the political fallout in a similar way here. Like how does Radiant Black's public image change after the Catalyst War? How does his public image change after people get all this private information? How does like Kieran's role change? And so all of that. So it's like, I think also like you're seeing here, like people are trying to figure out who he is, right? Like people are trying to figure out what his identity is so they can, and it's also like, we'll get into this more a little bit. I think we made a really good point as is here. So we'll get more to it when we get to that page, but you'll see what we're talking about right now directly plays out in this issue.
Yeah.
So now he's on the subway, right? He's on the subway. He's taking the subway. This is more of that levity we were talking about this issue where I love how they put up. He doesn't even have This could go either way. Like, at first I was like, he doesn't have Kieran's number saved in his phone, but then I'm like, Kieran is such a shady individual that he probably wouldn't want his number, so he's probably using like burners or something to contact
he has a
him,
new
right?
number every time. Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's what I took it as.
So he says it's K, right? He says it's K, which is obviously we're assuming as the audience it's Kieran, and he says, "Come to this address. We need to talk." And Marshall is like, say something only Kieran would know. And he says, you once said the most underrated superhero team was the Burger King Kids Club. Bro, I died when he said that. I actually died. Like, I was laughing so hard when he said that. Even his face, like Marshall's face in that image, like the reaction, it's so like over the top anime, in my opinion, that I loved it. And so I just thought it was fantastic.
It's almost like he couldn't believe he said that himself.
Yeah. I love that so much. So apparently that's all it takes to get with Kieran, and that's where they go to Melrose Park, and they are in a car, in a surveillance car, surveilling. They're looking at this man and his family. They're just eating food in the house. He's serving some dinner, and they're watching the man, and that you realize, well, there's another joke, and this one I loved. I'm sure everyone on here loved this joke. So Radiant Black turns to the guys in the van, there's Kieran and the guard, and he says, "So what are we doing? Infringing First Amendment rights and slaying some Candy Crush?" And then they say, "Helldivers remote play." And he says, "Wait, seriously? For democracy?" Yeah, we all know that. Guys, let's be real. It is Eduardo Ferigato, man.
Correct me if I'm wrong. We mentioned that to Kyle during the interview. I had no idea what it was.
He's like, I have no idea what that is. Never.
No, it's 100% Eduardo.
Love that.
He's like, and he told us he has a PS5, but he's never played it because he's just been so busy. Right. Kyle, yeah. So, yeah, for democracy. That's all I have to say. That was awesome. I thought that was such a fun little Easter egg for us. So I really enjoyed that. I'm sure you guys did as well. What did you think?
Yeah, that was hilarious. And obviously, I don't know. It seems like Eduardo is kind of getting in these little. I don't know. These
he's getting told yes a lot in the group chat.
Yeah, he's throwing in these little hints every so often. And
dude, I love
very
Eduardo.
much appreciated.
Yeah. I love when an artist doesn't give a shit. I love when an artist is like, "Look, I'm gonna do what the fuck I want. I don't care if you catch it. I'll beg for forgiveness later, but I don't care." Do you guys know who else did something similar this week? So Dan Mora in Justice League Unlimited #5 put Graham and Duncan from Once and Future in the issue. Like he just threw them as
funny.
Yeah. So in the issue where they're rescuing the ambassadors, like the political figures who are all meeting for the UN to discuss, two of them are Graham and Duncan. It's just like he just throws them into the thing, like clearly too, like huge. They're not like small, huge. There's like a page where like half of it is the focus, and I'm like, man, I love you. I love that he did that. I don't care, I love that.
That's funny.
And then we think about Daniele Di Niculo. He did like the Jujutsu Kaisen cameo in the Nightwing. Remember, he put the character. He put
yes, Gojo.
He put the Seven Secrets. I forget the kid's name. The Seven Secrets. Casper. He put Casper in the issue. Yeah, so he put all those. So I love when artists do that, and I thought this was such a nice little cameo. So thank you, Eduardo. Keep on doing you, man. We love it. Yeah, but
if the Kathy stuff gets you in trouble, you can stop though.
No, man, they have to catch it. They have to earn to stop it. Do whatever you want, Eduardo. If Michael doesn't catch it, it's good in my opinion. Michael's gonna be like, he's gonna double down on his vigilance. And Michael's gonna have like AI programs monitoring every issue, extrapolating like every bit of data. And I do love this page. Like one thing that I found kind of visceral in a good way is like they show you the picture of the man. What's his name? It's like starts with an N, right? What's his name?
Roger Neff.
Yeah.
Roger Neff. Yeah. So they show you a picture of him holding the dinner, and then right next to it is him dead, like the other timeline him. I'm like, that's such a visceral contrast between the two. It kind of hits you hard. So, what'd you guys think of that?
I thought this was just interesting. First off is that they're now Kieran's having to look at the both doppelgangers. Like we kind of thought, maybe like this Jaeger is going after some of the doppelgangers, but I just kind of assumed maybe the extra one from the New Earth, or like only one. But yeah, it seems like they're maybe targeting both, like the pair, which is very interesting. And I think another reveal here too is, and it did kind of seem like something was going on, because Kieran, I don't know, he doesn't normally seem like he's just kind of riding in the back of a van type guy.
He looks
Like,
extra like scuffier, right? Like kind of beaten up a little bit.
He was scuffy last issue for sure. Like he's been getting rough, but yeah, this is where we find out this issue that he lost his job, or he didn't lose his job, but there's a new administration, a new chain of command, and someone new in charge. So I thought that was super interesting, and going forward, I cannot wait to find out who that is. If that's someone we've already met before, I doubt it. But yeah, I think that could be really fun. But yeah, I'm liking this whole new mystery that's being set up with these doppelgangers and everything that's going on.
What if it's Kieran from the other timeline? That's his new boss. Who's like not gonna cut. He's gonna cut corners. So cool. Also, if we get a Sonya doppelganger would be sweet. So we'd have doppelganger going around. I think that'd be pretty cool.
Nice.
We're not gonna guess based on puns, but yeah, it was visceral to see that. And he flies away. The turkey dinner thing kind of stood out to me. So I guess is it November or October? No, November because it's American Thanksgiving. I don't know.
Yeah, that's
I'm just wondering why they want to kill both. Like, I feel like it's kind of obvious to know which one is the original one and which one is from the other timeline. Like, based on they live in a house and they have their family and whatever. I don't understand why they would want to kill both.
Yeah.
But the other thing is, I love.
Either.
Yeah, I don't. Maybe we'll find out soon enough. But I love on this page the emotions you could see in the eyes. Like, I feel like we haven't gotten that too much lately with the war and being kind of serious. That's always good to see in Radiant Black.
Yeah, and that's why he lets him know, like, okay, like your PR is really negatively affected right now. We're gonna need you to be on the down low because, like, it's all these people are pissed at you. So a lot of them blame you. You don't want to like be out there and stoke the flames. And that's where Radiant Black just like flies away, kind of upset. And here I think is one of the best. I was talking to you guys earlier about Eduardo doing some classic panels, and I think this is one of them right here. I love this panel. This is just such a good like shot of Radiant Black flying, and it reminds me a lot of like Invincible doing that flight pose in his when he's over the city. And they even put it on the mug. Like I have the Invincible mug, and it's the shot they put on the mug where he's just flying. And I just love the shot. Like I love it. I really do. It's so cool. I love the reflection of the city on his helmet. That's such a nice little touch. Like that's so nice. Like I just love it. I just thought this was such a cool shot. This is a shot that will live in my head rent free. Or a farming, as the kids call it, right?
Him
or
flying
a farming.
With his phone is very, very iconic for Radiant Black now. Like him just flying with his phone out.
But he's modern. That's a modern superhero. Like you probably have your phone on you, and he's marketing. Like there's who represents 100%. The times better right now than Marshall and Radiant Black. Name a comic. Also, I don't know. Him flying with that is great. Saying that he's fucked. I just this is the most reflective the helmet's ever been. Is in this issue. I'll say that too. There's another scene later where we get to see it.
Yeah,
he polished
totally agree.
Sure.
Yeah, and I think it looks really good like that. But yeah, man, this next scene killed me. I've kind of been onto Marshall a little bit, just like the need for all this like appreciation from people and need for validation, which he's really been going for. But man, I don't blame him this time in this issue. Like really, like he saves this girl who she's wearing noise canceling headphones and she can't hear anything, and a car just like is gonna go right into her. And Marshall lifts up the car, saves the day, puts the car back down. First of all, the car like isn't like shocked at all. It just
keeps driving, whatever.
I was like, holy crap! But this freaking dad comes over of this little girl, I'm presuming, and just goes right into Marshall. Thinks he's
you're not getting her epinephrine.
Yeah, like man,
you can tell this guy lives on the forums. Like you can tell
this reminded me. I've actually been reading like Gibbon's Green Lantern Corps recently, and like Soranik Natu going back to Korugar. And like trying to save all these people, like just doing all this nursing stuff, and people just hating people hating her everywhere, just because of who she is and what the Green Lantern.
She's a healer. She's a healer. She just wants to heal people.
All she wants to help, and people are just shitting on her.
She's like, I'm not even an offensive person. I just want to heal people. No,
that's what this very much reminds me of. But I think Marshall, he might even have it worse here. So yeah, he gets very depressed after this, but you can't blame him. What do you guys think about this page? But yeah,
Dude, I love the dialogue.
The full shot, the one like full page spread was very, very nice too. I do have to say.
It's almost like the classic Superman trope of saving a child from a wreckage or a building or a plane, whatever, but in a radiant black way, right? Except nobody likes him right now, so he's getting shot on.
Comparing this to Superman is excellent because in Superman's early years, like people were afraid of the Krypton of it all. Like, in fact, that's why he doesn't wear a mask, right? Like people always forget Superman doesn't wear a mask because he wants people not to think he's an alien. He wants them to feel comfortable when they look at him. He wants them to think them. So like this actually reminded me a lot of like the racism that Kryptonians experienced during like New World of New Krypton and things like that, where it's like whenever there were more Kryptonians, like the world was just like, oh, are they just gonna take us over now? They're so much stronger than us. Like, are they just gonna murder us all? Like they could do anything they want. They're a threat to existence. And it just like you can see even from the dialogue that this guy says, like, you're not getting her epinephrine, you're not getting it. We know what you and the robots are planning: the destruction, the bodies, the donuts,
the donuts.
Like, this dude lives on the forums. I'm telling you, like those like, forums we saw, the Reddit posts and everything last issue. Like this dude is one of like the most hardcore posters on that. I guarantee it.
Yeah, so, it's the numbers, Mason. Like it's just all this conspiracy shit. Like it's kind of interesting because there is a lot of that. You see, it's online. It's like information wars all the time, and everyone getting pulled in different directions, and it has real world consequences. And we're addressing that in this storyline where people can take any story and run with it. And Marshall is objectively being heroic, like he's and he's painted as like the biggest bastard when he's the only reason there still is in Chicago.
Yeah, he's trying his best for sure. And this guy, like he even goes in on the donuts, man. Like he's just hating on donuts for no reason. It's like the donuts, stay away from my girl. Which is funny. We did get some cool donut constructs in this week's Green Lantern, so shout out to that. But no, that was like just uncalled for.
This next page, we need to set this up. He says, "Hey Siri, download Raya." Now, before we progress, is Raya a real app?
It is.
Yes. Raya is a real dating app for famous people specifically.
Yes.
Okay. All right, guys. Now I'm gonna share a page. One of the best pages of the fucking issue for sure. All right.
They knew what they were doing with this.
Okay, so right here. Okay, let's really unpack. First of all, the pose by Radiant Black in that picture, that is a homage to the Grant Gustin graveyard pose. Like the Flash out of context scene, like when they're not filming. Let's talk about what he says in the about. So it says his name is Radiant. Okay, Radiant Black with the same as the Twitter handle in real life, by the way, like the BLK, Chicago, Illinois. And it says about lives in your heart, work. I like to think of it more as a calling. And then he says, I'm Radiant Black. Yes, the real one. Yes, I can fly. And yes, once you go Radiant Black, you never go back. I actually stopped when I was reading this. I was just laughing. So like this issue made me laugh a lot, but this one was like the cherry on top. And it's truly like, I think one thing I really loved about this segue from the last page to this page is I think even like all of us here can relate. This is a very human reaction. Like this is the most human I think Marshall has done, where it's like he's getting dunked on so hard. It's like how it's like Bruce Wayne is the cool guy and Batman is the loner. Like Bruce Wayne is the mask, right? Because he's like trying to tell people like I'm the partier. Look at all these babes on me. It's like with Marshall, he just went the complete opposite. He's like, bro, Marshall is a fucking loser. Let me go to radio and see what I can do. Poor guy, man. Like, he just wants love, man. This man just wants validation. No one wants to give it to him. He wants his friend. His friend can't live there anymore. He wants some love. Nobody wants to love him for who he is. So he's like, fuck it. I'm going to go on radio on Ryan.
And even that wasn't too successful, man. Not to say, first of all, I appreciate Eva's reaction of like just extreme cringe. I'm sure it's very relatable, but even dating as Radiant Black is not that easy.
Yeah,
no, it's not that easy. But I will say he does get more success. You can see right when he starts up, like all the clicks. Like, man, he's popping up. He's got 372 matches, like within a couple minutes. It looks like so. I think he's doing okay. But the actual dates themselves, that could be another story.
So we have a page of that. So yeah, like Charlie said, he does get a shit ton of matches, and he ends up going on a whole date. And they do this awesome montage, which it took me back to issue
1
or 2, where he does the taxi.
Uber,
the Uber montage. Yeah, so I love that, and you can see here that's the montage. So good for him. He went with a lot. He went out with a lot of girls.
A lot of famous people if they're on Rhea.
Yeah, that's true. And you can see like none of them really care up until like the last girl understands. Yeah, this girl understands one of the references because she's talking about the mummy, and that's what he keeps talking. So as you can see, dating doesn't really seem to be going very successfully. Sorry, yeah, it's not working out. But as we'll see, he does end up meeting someone, right? And you said her name is Tiff, right? So yeah, he makes a joke about churros, and it's pretty lewd. She says, not going to lie. I thought churros was a double entendre. And he says, for what exactly? And she says, oh, use your imagination. I'm like, Kyle.
Yeah. Kyle. Oh, that was good. That was good. This whole page was good. And I do have to point out, too, I'm a little concerned for Marshall's lack of wardrobe here, but he does pull up with the Hawaiian shirt that he's wearing in Radiant Black.
This is the new Radiant Black cosplay, bro.
Yeah,
this is the new cosplay. We had the Hawaiian shirt one. This is like the full-on formal date cosplay.
This is Hawaiian with the shirt. It's the same costume, but just add on to it, right?
Like, it's the jacket over top.
If this guy ever becomes super mainstream, which he will one day, hopefully. We need a figure where it's like a super rare figure where it's just the Hawaiian shirt and then one of this like date night Radiant Black, or Radiant Raya or some shit, Oh my god, I want to cosplay this outfit. I'm not even kidding. I want to buy the helmet just so I can.
It was Bachelor Radiant Black or something.
Yeah, like super cool. And like Matt mentioned too, we get another reflection here. Like after they're talking, we get a really cool reflection of her.
Yeah.
Kind of on his mask. My question for you guys is she just a freak or is she like actually?
I think she's like she's like I don't want to say adrenaline junkie. I think she's trying to be like kind of kinky. You know what I mean? Like a part of it is kink, part of it is like a thrill-seeking thing. I don't think I part of me when I was reading this, truly, I say this truly, I was like, there's only two outcomes, and I'm saying this as I'm reading this. The first is that she's a superhero of some kind, and she has experience with this, or she has some sort of like she does some extracurricular like activities that resemble that, and she has experience, which is why she's so unafraid. Or naturally, the second one, the more logical one, and I genuinely thought this before I even got to that page. I think she's gonna start freaking out like when he actually does it, because like people sometimes you think about things and you're like, yeah, that's cool, but then you experience it and it's like it's very scary, or you're just not used to it. You don't have that experience. So yeah, he's like, okay, let's go. I'm like, this cannot, like, there's no way this is gonna end well, right?
This kind of reminded me of Invincible too, more the comic than the show with the carry me or I want to fly thing with William. Except I like how they did it here more because I feel like this is exactly how a normie would take it.
Yeah, that's even more scary, right? Because like you're not really holding on to anything per se. Like he's just making her fly by herself. Like
and
when he could do it,
that's a scary thought.
Can he not lift them both up at the same time? But she does. She looks scared as hell.
And if he can lift the car, I'm pretty sure he can lift it too.
Yeah, I would think so.
She looks traumatized, and before we found like the reveal she was scared. There is a potential option C where it could have been one of Jaeger's guys that met him on Tinder and was trying to.
She definitely.
That's what I was thinking at first. That's what I was thinking.
But she appealed to his horniness for sure, because he says swallow, like, he's like, you have no idea how awkward this is, because literally anytime there's ding ding, that's the phone buzzer going off, so that's the alert, the bag, and she says, oh, is that your bad guy alert? And she says, would you believe me if I said yes? And she says, wine and danger. Do you know how hot that is? Come on, Rady, show a girl a good time.
Rady, another Rady drop.
Yeah,
it's a second Rady drop. It's catching on.
Show you one.
Do we know that was? I mean, it probably was a danger phone, but there's probably some Raya notifications mixed in with that, because if you're getting 300 instantly, you're probably still getting them during the day. So that's something true. Like that, you never know. But I think we're intent. Yeah, since he took her on the mission, it definitely was that. But
Yeah. And so, the next page is them flying up together, and she's clearly like traumatized from the experience. Like she's clearly really scared, and I don't blame her. Like,
she's cold.
Yeah,
you got to be cold of it. Realistically,
you can't. He's not, like you said, he's not even holding her. So like that must be a completely like new sensation. You must be freaking out. You don't know how the powers work. So, and you're not like a superhero, superhuman, anything like that. So he says he just realized, and he says, sigh, lesson learned, right? So he puts her back down. He says, sorry, I'm already all transformed. I should probably go deal with this. And he says like, okay, I'll DM you. And she's just clearly traumatized. Like her mascara is all like messed up. Her hair is like all messed up from the wind. Like clearly this girl is not going to respond to those DMs. So I thought this was really funny. What did you guys think?
Yeah, I think it's going to be cool seeing his perspective when he kind of gets like turned down both as Marshall and Radiant Black. Like he kind of takes that second side and you see he can't kind of get it done with either. So I think that's going to be interesting fallout. But yeah, kind of pity the guy a little bit for sure.
Definitely.
He just wants companionship, man.
He's lonely, right? I think someone said in the Discord, like he's missing Marshall, his best, or Nathan, his best friend's gone, and you know you're losing.
I don't see Orson. I don't know where Orson is, man. So.
Well, we're talking about Orson in the letters column later on, as well as some other characters that aren't around, but. It's been rough for Marshall. He's lonely. And yeah, the dating app, I mean, obviously it is dangerous as hell to do that. You could expose your identity or whatever. He's like, yeah, I don't take the mask off after a third date. Also trying to make out with this. I've seen someone puke through it. Like you're mentioning puking when you're talking about going to make out with someone. Like that's
he's definitely got the
not an aphrodisiac or anything like that.
No.
So yeah, he sees this the alert takes him to these what he calls the Damon silos. And there's just like these silos with this almost like makeshift bridge looking thing on top. And he sees someone hanging, like they clearly look like they're crucified or they're dying. That's the pose they're in.
Yeah.
So they're being held up, and he sees that there's like a light. There's lights near it. So he clicks the button to enable the lights, and then it says in big words, someone spray painted, "Not here, never again." And there's a woman with something around her neck. It's like it's a necklace, but attached to it is a sort of device, and the device is clearly made with 001 technology because it electrocutes Radiant Black, and it causes the glitchy effect that Ali was talking about, where it reveals what's under the suit. So it's literally making you see through the suit. So you can see that it's Marshall at this moment, but immediately he's interrupted by this character, and we have an image here that I'll post up. This character who looks very cool and
new character,
pretty attractive. So she says, "Hands where we can see them, Black. We want you and that body of yours out of here." So this is the new character, and she shows up with a gang, like you guys were talking about the yellow goggle wearing gang. So here these guys all have like yellow goggles or some sort of yellow visors, and they're here backing her up. So they clearly also have some 001 tech or makeshift technology. So at first I thought, okay, maybe they're setting him up, but obviously, in hindsight, they're not setting him up. They just show up because of the alert as well. So he's being set up by Jaeger, clearly, who we see in the next page. Yeah. So what did you guys think of the introduction of this character? And sorry, what was her name? Was
Mariposa.
Mariposa. That means
Mariposa, which means butterfly, right?
Yeah, butterfly in Spanish.
Yeah.
She has a cool design. It is very cool. It kind of goes with all the other 001 designs we've gotten. Kind of waiting for one of the villains, I wouldn't say to stand out a little bit more, but kind of I'd like to see a villain outside of this 001 technology or even Radiant technology. I think that could be kind of cool. But yeah, I also think it's cool. We kind of got the gang here. Kind of like I was saying earlier, I don't think they're as bad as they were kind of let out to be. They're obviously here for the strung up body. We don't know why. We don't know if they were trying to save them or they just maybe have a sensor for this Radiant technology. They're trying to get rid of it all. But yeah, I think they were cool enough. They got some big hammers and some cool swords and stuff. And I did like the whole butterfly thing. I thought that was pretty cool. That was a cool reveal.
The wings are like Mercies from Overwatch a little bit. That's cool design.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I see that. She kind of reminds me of the Wasp, or I think her name is Bumblebee from the Justice League, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Same kind of like colors, design. But this gang is giving more like they're almost vigilantes rather than just villainous.
Like a resistance almost.
It's feeling like Dead Lucky to me. Like it's a Dead Lucky kind of vibes.
Yeah, I can see that.
I'm thinking maybe they're resistance from, or maybe from the other Earth. These guys are trying to limit this alien technology to stop kind of what happened to their Earth. I'm not
100%.
sure.
Or maybe they feel like there's gonna be an alien invasion and they want to be like defending themselves.
Little people's militia going.
Yes. Exactly. Yeah. It reminds me of like, you remember like in RoboCop, you know? It's like you have those little like actions, right?
I
But
will
yeah,
say maybe that's what she means when she says, well, Radiant Black says, "Listen, lady, you got to get out of here," and she says, "It's Mariposa, and I'm never leaving. None of us are." Maybe that's kind of what she's alluding to, is that they're almost refugees from the other, the deleted timeline, and they're here there, and they really have no choice. They can't leave even if they wanted to.
I think Marshall earned himself some clout here because the bridge, which they mentioned multiple times, is unstable. It collapses. When it collapses, the yellow goggle people, for the most part, some of them get hurt, but most of them are able to be rescued by Mariposa and Radiant Black by he's stopping the wreckage and the debris. But one thing he does that I think earns him some respect, even if he's in a weird state of PR right now with the public, is he rescues these police officers. He saves every single one of them. He saves their lives, puts the shield around them, and they survive. And it's weird because they're not, like, even in the moment, like, they don't say anything, but afterwards when they're talking to him, they don't seem hostile towards him, which is nice. So yeah, they close off the crime scene to conduct an investigation even after the debris is all, the mess and the wreckage. But I will say that in the following panel, we see that there's a person who's clearly Jaeger watching the computer monitor, and they were trying to figure out who Marshall was. But Marshall is lucky because the lighting and the shadow covered enough of his face where it's still concealed, and they can't make
can barely see a silhouette.
It is. Exactly. Yeah. So clearly this was a setup. This was a setup, a trap by Jaeger, yelled out so that he can figure out who Radiant Black is and probably publicize that information or just lead a crusade against him or even just to target him himself. I got to say, this is really clever. I like the way that Jaeger operates reminds me of how Red Hood operated when he first came back from the dead before he revealed that he was back from the dead. Like he would mess with Batman, put all these things. It's just like trigger his memory almost. So I'm very curious to see how that plays moving forward. But I hope that now that Marshall has had this second encounter, I hope that we see him be more cautious in his approach in future crime scenes, because I think he's starting to learn that someone has it out for him and that they're going to use any means necessary to get to him. Yeah.
That's what sets Jaeger apart for sure. Like, he's super badass. I think it's was also, I think we're all under the assumption that he knew who Marshall was already, because he had all these names on his board. Like he had Kathy, he had all these names, right? But yeah, so I thought that was just very, very cool. He's kind of lurking in the shadows, and yeah, I think we're gonna get a very kind of top tier villain out of Jaeger here. Like, he's don't know his motivations yet, but an alternate Wendell would be the dream.
That's it. What the way that Michael described it in the comment section about the timelines, like, they're probably not. I don't know if we're gonna get an alternate Wendell, because
that was a good job.
Yeah, it's like stream, and it's like two timelines put together, so there's not multiple timelines. It's just like one different version of this timeline or something like that. Like he explained it much better than I did. But yeah,
it's almost like Wendell blipped, right? Like, he just doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah, he made the ultimate sacrifice. With Mariposa, the most interesting thing for me is that Marshall's got the crush on her with the Clerks reference, right?
Clerks
so
reference,
that's
I think she has a crush on him too, because when she's leaving, she says "Adios, guapo." Guapo, I'm pretty sure, is handsome in Spanish. So there's a little something going on.
Or at the very least, she could be playing into that, using a bit of like charm to maybe potentially have him either screw up and give away some identity or whatever. But yeah, as we know with Marshall, like, and I'm guilty of this too. If a lady knows like whatever nerdy shit that I know, like, you're in on it. Like the date with the lady, she's like, oh, close enough with Tiff, right? Like, we know that's kind of a thing from like, oh my god, the thing I don't shut the fuck up about, So
that's true. All I know is Kieran's not gonna be happy either. Kieran told this guy to stand down. I definitely think Nathan probably would have stood down in this situation. Maybe not. It's just kind of cool to think of the differences between them two. But yeah, he does have a good point though. Like, although he is a big hero, he's trying to help these people. Like, he is a target for a lot of these villains trying to get at him, which can create a lot of injuries and deaths all around. So it's kind of, I don't know, it's a very Batman comparison there. I love that, of how he's kind of causing this harm with trying to help. all at the same time. But yeah, it kind of we go back to this amazing page
the
here.
biggest
Who put
threat
this
to
in?
Radiant
Who
Black
was
right
did
here.
Eduardo sneak this in, or did Kyle put this in?
I need to know, but 100%. I need to know if this was like in the script or if Eduardo was feeling like
that'd be very ballsy by Eduardo if he just went ahead and did that. I wouldn't put it past him. I wouldn't put it past him. I love that, and
I loved it.
I wonder how many times in the next 6 issues we're gonna see this exact same panel, with one hand over Marshall's head, saying, "I think I've just met someone." So that's the second time in 2 issues. So I'll keep the count going for sure.
You know what's funny, you guys? I just I'm not very big into Pokemon anymore, at least. So I just Googled Pikachu. I wanted to see like if this looks exactly like Pikachu.
Oh, it's exactly.
And it does. It's actually the first image. Like if you just search Pikachu, it's the first thing that shows up.
Yep.
Yeah, it's the modern Pikachu, not the the fat boy Pikachu from back in the day. But
yeah.
No, but I'm gonna out nerd myself here. But yeah, if you take away the Pikachu, it's just a plain white tease reference at that point. But I think no, I'm just messing around. But legally, I think this is low key a marketing strategy for Radiant Black. Because if you get sued by Nintendo, there's some headlines on IGN and stuff like that. You pay off the lawsuit.
Absolutely.
Because like Nintendo will sue. Pokemon is bad with that. They just sued. What's the one that came out last January? Yeah, they sued them. I don't think they won, but yeah, I don't know. I think it's interesting. It's cool when you see stuff like that because we saw Snorlax in an issue of I think Radiant Pink, and it's cool to have those real world things because we see people wearing those T-shirts all the time. I've got a Radiant Black T-shirt on, so it's that kind of stuff. I like it.
Yeah. So yeah, it ends with Marshall thinking he met someone. I thought that was a great way to end an issue that we talked about, had a lot of levity, a lot of comedy. It was a more lighthearted issue, kind of exploring different facets of the political and the political aspects of the fallout, but also just other aspects of the fallout as well, the personal, the public, the social. So yeah, Marshall is yearning for some connection and maybe some other stuff. But so I'm gonna get to the last thing I want to show off here before we end this episode is actually this right here. So we got the return. I'm not going to show any panels because obviously we've shown enough of the issue. Please support this comic book. It's amazing. Tell your friends about it. But we get the return of Marshall School of Business. And one thing that's really cool is that this was colored by Mark Englert, the colorist of No One. It was lettered by Becca Carey, but it was written and drawn by Chris Pierce, a.k.a. Chris from Comic Tropes. So the host of the YouTube channel, and amazing guy, amazing steward of comic books, really cool guy. Like in my opinion, one of the best comic book channels, period, that there are. So it was really cool to see Chris's work on this issue. So if you like Chris, please support his work. Pick up this issue. Check out the story he did in the back of the issue. I think there were 2 parts to it, so I thought it was really sweet. And it's just nice to get Marshall School of Business back. It's a really nice. Just a little bonus thing that they do in these books sometimes, and I love it. And I heard that we're going to get more in future issues. I don't know which issues yet, but they did mention there's going to be a couple more. So that's really exciting. So that's a pleasant surprise. And another great way to end another fantastic issue of Radiant Black.
We got to get into this excellent in some ways, but this was a pretty packed mailbag. Yeah, it was a pretty.
Was it not just Michael talking to himself?
Yes. It was.
Yes, it was.
But like, it was. It's funny. It's funny. You can tell. I think I made a joke before in the past saying like Michael should just do a letter section where he takes all the questions people constantly asks and addresses them, and that's exactly what he did here. Yeah. And it's so funny because you could tell like he's sick of getting these questions. Yep. Dude, every time next hardcover. Every time the clip of the verses gets posted anywhere, the first question 10 times. Where's the show? When is the show? When is the show? Is there a show? When is the show?
You know how hard it is to do?
Why isn't there a show?
We're still trying to prove the IP to the world, and it's like, can we make a cartoon? It's like that shit ain't cheap. Like we gave. That's the problem is they're guilty of their own success or a victim of their own success, which is like there's so much shit that they've done.
This is important to say. Sorry, I have to say this. It's important. I think everyone here knows, but I have to say this. Robert Kirkman is the richest man in comics right now.
Yeah.
He has the highest net worth in the comic book industry.
Yeah. So but it's because of the shows. It's because of Walking Dead.
100%.
First,
it's because of 100% it's the shows. But after season 1 of Invincible, it's been reported that over 1 million copies of the compendium sold. So it's like this man, he has an empire. And right now, he's doing Void Rivals and Transformers and G.I. Joe. And in order to do that, he had to get the license from Hasbro and the comic book license like the IDW had. That's not cheap. Like, this is a man with a plan, with vision, with resources behind him, and he's rich. Like, he has the means to pursue these things, right? Kyle Higgins is not Robert Kirkman yet. Like, he's not at that level. He's a successful creator, but he's not rolling in cash. So to expect him to just magically like make a show,
especially
like
$22 million.
I do want to say what Kyle Higgins is doing is impressive in its own right. The fact that he created that animation, the fact that they're making a no one movie, the fact that they built this universe, that's all extremely impressive. Audiobook, exactly. He brought fucking Batman Beyond to be the voice of Radiant Black. That's not.
There's throwing events in C2E2 when they're doing cutouts to show new characters. Like, he's going above and beyond in ways that are hard to even follow.
Exactly. And guys, this series has 36 issues or 37 now total, including the half issues from Catalyst War. That's nothing. Like, Invincible didn't even have murmurs of a potential TV show way until it was past 100 issues. And even then, nothing started until the series was over. And
speaking of, have you seen that MTV thing? They were supposed to do like it got canceled. It got canceled. But it was pretty cool. I never knew about it.
Yeah, the thing is they made it. Are you talking about the motion comic?
Yeah.
No, that was made. So the reason that people are talking about it is because it got lost, because it doesn't exist in the internet like database, and no one has access to it. That's why people want to see it, because like it was made years ago, but nobody has it anymore. So people are like, where is it? Because we want to see it, but nobody has it. It's just one of those things that got lost during the
lost media
archive purge. Yeah, lost media, exactly. So that's why it's been getting a lot of resurgence in the media recently. But also, Invincible, like Matt said earlier, it's huge. It's a cultural phenomenon now. It's huge. It's for all intents and purposes, it's mainstream. Battle Beast sold 400,000 issues. Like, let's think about it. I think Hush did like 430,000. Hush 2. That is one of the most successful Batman stories of all time.
Right.
Battle Beast is
and it's been hyped for months.
It's hyped for months. That's what I'm saying. Jim Lee coming back to draw again in Interiors for the first time in a long time. So is Invincible getting a bit of a buff from the blind bag? 100%, but still 400K is insane, guys. Like, that's mainstream numbers. That is some of the highest numbers of the year for a comic. I'm not sure, because I don't know what the official numbers for the TMNT relaunch was, but I think they did like 350,000 for number one. That's with Jason Aaron and like crazy characters like Sophie Campbell, Juan Ferreira working on that. So it's like, wow. For them to do that those kind of numbers with Invincible is very encouraging. It's a
great sign.
Yeah.
Well, listen. Invincible is in Fortnite. Okay, that means it's 100% mainstream, and it's not just Invincible. It's like the whole fucking. They have Duplicate in Fortnite now, for God's sake. Like,
exactly.
Shrinking in a cup.
Yeah, Boss Baby soon. So
that would have been the best backbling. Oh my,
100%. But like, Invincible is when you think about how long Invincible has been complete. I think Invincible.
2018.
I think if it's 2018 is it ended.
I think it's
2018, so and the show didn't come out till what, 2021?
Yeah, 2021.
So it took like 3 or 4 years after the show, and I'm fairly certain there was designs to like at least start adaptation, maybe even before the series ended. So guys, like, give it some time, and let's say in a hypothetical perfect world, right? Let's say that Radiant Black right now, some billionaire just came up to Kyle and was like, "Man, I love your shit. Here's a check. You fill in the number." Make it happen, okay? Let's say that happened, just hypothetically. What is Kyle going to adapt? If 2 seasons, and we'd be done all the comics.
It's like doing the leftover. It's like Last of Us, where you have 2 games that's worth the story, and now you're like, ooh, shit,
exactly.
We have to stretch out season 2.
Exactly. So it's like, let Kyle cook with the comic. Let us all, not just us on the podcast, all of us as a community, as readers, as collectors, as fans, let us continue to put the word out there to support the comic book financially by buying the issues, buying the trades, telling our friends and family about it, telling anybody who might be interested, getting the word out there, growing it organically over time. Once the series gets close to ending or it's done, and then we can talk about adapting it, doing all these cool things with it. But until then, I think it's pointless. Like, it's redundant. There's no point, because what is he going to adapt? like 36 issues, that would be 2 seasons. Then what? Like, what are you going to adapt? And then we can say a super massive special, right? Like, okay, then what?
Yeah. Michael had a really good just kind of answer for a lot of these things here. Like, they're asking, or there was a question about toys, there was a question about merchandise and shows, and he basically said, okay, like, I know you guys are asking for a lot of this, but the answer to pretty much all of them are like, we just got to find the right partner. Things take time. Like, obviously we'll announce them when they come. But he went through here and basically said it's about $10,000 per minute for an animated show. So 8 episodes, 22-minute for one
That's like
season.
$2 million,
is about
right?
$2 million.
He said $2 million for a 8-episode, 20-minute. 20-minute episode, not 40 like Invincible.
Yeah, 20-minute. Yeah, so that's $2 million for that. And that's a conservative estimate in today. And
that's absolutely insane.
We're also like not even talking about how long it takes animation to be created. Like animation is very slow. It's a very arduous, like hard process to create like animation. So it's
Simpsons episodes take 16 months to come out. Like they write them and then whatever, or at least they used to back in the day. I don't know what the speed is, but I don't think it's faster, and it takes time.
It takes time. Yeah. So even if we adapted it today, right now, they start working out, we still probably wouldn't get it for 3 years. So it's like, let's be patient, guys. Trust me, like good things will come. Look at Invincible. There is this foundation now of image superheroes being cool. Look at The Boys. I know The Boys is not image, but you get the point. Indie superheroes. There's a foundation of them having some mainstream success. So the longer this continues to build with those kinds of properties and comic books, the better it looks prospect-wise for something like a Radiant Black to an investor or to a company or to a partner, right? So it works in our favor as fans to just be patient. Like, and at the end of the day, they did deliver on their promise of keeping the comic book monthly. The comic book is releasing on time right now, something that we should give massive credit to the team for. They've done a great job in delivering.
And the quality's been maintained as well.
So 100%. Yeah. So we should just continue to support that. And don't get me wrong. I'm not saying don't ask for the show. I'm just saying be reasonable. Be reasonable. Be patient. Yeah, we're gonna get it. I promise. We're gonna get media of Radiant Black one day. We're gonna get the figures and all that. It's just a matter of time. It could be 10 years from now. It could be
when did Invincible get their first like actual action figures?
It was like years it was well into though, right? It was during the comic because
it was at least by 2010.
A limited.
It wasn't like 2002 or whenever.
No. But do you know what I'm talking about? I have
the tiny little ones. I know
the tiny ones. Yeah,
that are in The Walking Dead. They're in The Walking Dead.
Exactly.
So it has to be by 2012.
They're not even articulate. There's no articulation. They're just like the little DC 3.5.
But I'm saying even that took years after the comic came out.
Yeah, it took years, and then Skybound made it themselves. So like they didn't even, or maybe they partnered with someone, but like they sold it through the Skybound store. So like, but if you look now, Invincible has figures. Like they're releasing all the characters. I have Mark and I have Omni-Man and I have Adam Eve. And they
still no Funko Pops, which is weird as hell to me.
No, they have Funko Pops.
Official?
No, it's YouTube's. It's YouTube's.
Bro, I swear I've seen Funko Pops.
I don't think Invincible has Funko Pops.
I'll send you. They have the battle damage. They have the Funko Pop regular and they have the bloody one.
You're right.
I'm telling you, I swear they have the Funko Pops.
You're right.
Yeah, I've seen them. Yeah, they have the Funko Pops.
Okay, I just saw some mock-up ones. It must have been for like a wave 2 or something. Of someone just like messing around. Fair enough. Okay.
They have it all. So I'm telling you guys, it's a matter of time. Just be patient. For God's sake, we can buy the helmet. You can buy the Radiant Black helmet. Right?
Yeah, that was a good start.
That's another thing that's crazy. The fact that Kyle made that possible is insane.
And that was like over a year ago that came out.
I know, it's crazy. And that shows you his commitment to the craft, to the book, to everything. Like Kyle knows what he has. They all do. Everyone working on Radiant Black, they know how good this book is.
He's a director. Right? He's not thinking long term with the show, and
100%.
We've got the perfect person, the helmet, who's got experience and knows this kind of stuff, and he's obviously researching.
And he wasn't he like a sound. He has a lot of experience with sound editing. So the first thing, it's not a surprise. The first thing he did was make a podcast with no one, make an audiobook for the like. This guy is so smart. He has a vision. He's using his talents to deliver in the most creative and best ways, like in that sense. So let's just be patient. The fact that we've gotten all of that, we got the Radiant Black fold out one big page, number 18, the special edition, the Infinite edition. We got the helmet you can purchase. We got the boxes that they did. We got the episodes, the animation, backlight. Yeah, exactly. The bath bombs. Everything they've been doing is already insane when you really think about it. But I understand when you're so excited, you read the issue, you're seeing your favorite characters in the moment. You're just like, I want more, like that Kylo Ren, the GIF, right? More. Yeah. So no, but we'll get there. I promise. The best thing we can do right now is just continue supporting them. I think someone said we want more hardcovers. Damn right, we want more hardcovers. So let's keep pushing that.
But we need more of the story, right? We're like, it's too short a story.
They Michael himself put that in here too, so I wouldn't put that past them. That was really cool. He even put in, a lot of people have been asking about that green radiant, and he says like in the present we've never addressed where the radiants actually come from. So that's a big overarching threat that we need to explore, if it's a threat or is it not. That'll be cool to see. But yeah, he did a lot of teasing here, and I did really like the whole timeline thing of how it wasn't two different realities. It's just one reality, and if you build a wall in the middle, the streams separate. It becomes two timelines of the same reality, which I loved. He did a great job with that. And Matt, it's a sad time.
Elephant in the room.
I didn't think we'd come to this moment. What do you have to say?
Well, it's Schrodinger's Kathy, because she could be dead and alive, but she's not dead until we see her dead, so she's still dead and alive. I'm just saying, man. I'm just saying.
Yeah, because like what happens in the back matter is it canon? I don't know. Like I think what's canon is what's in the book. Like you can say something. I mean, it is. I don't know if I'm bullshitting myself, but like we need to see a body.
Eduardo, save us. Yeah, save us, Eduardo.
Also, I thought it was his godmother. Didn't Michael say it was his aunt in the back matter? He says aunt. I thought it was godmother.
Yeah.
I thought she was aunt.
I guess it could be both.
I always
my aunt is my godmother.
So okay, well, I stand corrected.
It could be both.
That's true. That's true. It could be both. Yeah.
She's got many titles. She means a lot to a lot of people out there, and it sucks. She was written off. It was like whatever. No, I
love the worst way to be written off. If she is like, is that the worst way? Just kind of in the back matter.
Yes, she's a casualty of war.
Earlier this episode, when Charlie was talking about like the suspects we see, he was like, "Oh, we see Kathy." I'm like, the first person he's like, "We see Kathy." He said this like she's an important character. We see Kathy. We see Marsha. I'm like, this man said Kathy first. He said Kathy.
Listen,
fucking Matt's indoctrinated us, man. He's like incepted us with this like Kathy.
He has, man.
Put it into us, man.
Listen, we're happy to see her. It was great to see her last week, and our hopes were just dashed because we got to clear this fucking mess right now. Let's not give them any hope. Let's not let Ronan come back here and be back to being Hawkeye. No.
Okay, but at least Orson, just one panel of Orson in the future. I love Orson. Please, just one panel. Show us he's alive.
Maybe they don't allow dogs in Eva's apartment.
No, that's true. That's true.
I do like Eva being the roommate, though. I think that's a cool dynamic and a nice.
I kind of want to see more of that. Honestly, I want to see more.
I like their friendship. I like their
I'd be a duo mission.
I'd be down for 6 more pink issues during this, during the Marshall arc. While she's the roommate, we see the other half. That'd be cool.
That'd be very cool.
One last thing. Before we go. The guy who I was speaking to earlier today, who picked up some books from me, he mentioned that. Shout out Ronald. He mentioned that we need more Radiant Red, and I agree. We need more Radiant Red. What happened to Radiant Red? Give me the Radiant Red, please. I need the Radiant Red. Like, this is one of the best characters in the whole book. Like, she's such a good character. We need more Radiant. It doesn't have to be like a huge focus of every issue. Just give me like a little peek. Like, she's doing
the dynamic with Marshall too. It's just like, oh well, I killed your friend. Well, you killed me in another universe, right? So that's like another flavor we have post-war, where it's just like, oh yeah, you killed everyone.
Yeah, there's no Wendell and no Satomi, and you really feel it because there were so much of them in the Catalyst War. So it's like you really feel their absence. But I like what they're doing with Eva, where it's like there's no real reason to have her in the book right now in terms of like in the mission situation. So we're just gonna have her pop up as the roommate, and I like that a lot. I think that's great. So to see Radiant Red in some way like that would be perfect.
You're not putting her in jeopardy if like someone finds her identity because she can defend herself. So it's kind of like fair, and like vice versa. So it makes sense for them to be roommates.
Yeah. I think that's it. I think we covered. That was an awesome discussion. We covered a lot. Anything to look forward to? The only really thing to look
big thing next time we got our podcast got to cross over. We got Rogue Sun, Radiant Black. Let's go.
So we're gonna cross over with the Rogue Sun podcast. If you know, you know. So we're very excited to talk about that. Make sure you pre-order the issue. It's gonna be in both the books that they're gonna be. So in Rogue Sun, and Michael did say, I think in the letters, that you don't need to read both, but if you do, it's like you get a little bit more, but you don't need to.
Do they come out the same week?
Interesting.
No, I don't think they come out the same week.
Okay. Which makes sense.
Sure, I'm pretty sure one of them comes out before the other, but I'm not 100% sure.
I think Rogue Sun starts it off, I believe.
Yeah, I think Rogue Sun starts it off. Yeah,
it's gonna be cool to see the art.
Radial Black. Artists. I can't wait for Radial Black to meet Rogue Sun.
Just seeing the different artists drawing those different characters, and we do get to see. I think Ari is gonna be in there too. It's gonna be Ari and Dylan with Marshall, which is that's gonna be
Ari and Marshall. She's like, there's another one. Like, she's gonna have to deal with that.
Fighting some new supernatural villains too. Billy Blood Moon, great choice. Classic,
it's gonna be great.
Yeah.
I want like Dylan to say something snarky, like, "Where's your doppelganger? Like, what happened to your second?" You know, like, he's going through it now. You know. Anyway, guys, it's been a pleasure. Please pre-order the next issue of Radiant Black. It's gonna be Radiant Black 33 with a gorgeous, oh my god, 1 in 25 foil by Rod Rice, and it's like Rogue Sun and Radiant Black flying together. But on the Rogue Sun part, it's orange background. On the Radiant Black, it's blue. It's just so nice. Oh, it's so good. I just pre-ordered mine today.
Next Radiant Black cover too is fantastic. We got Billy on the cover. It's Marcelo, but it looks like the coloring.
You can buy the cover.
Looks like a different texture. Yeah, I was gonna shout that out.
It's like 1,500 or something.
Pick that up. 1,100 USD.
1,100. Okay, yeah. You can buy it. So.
If anyone wants to buy a fresh cover, but it does look.
It's gorgeous. It looks gorgeous. And last but not least, we're at 390 subscribers on our YouTube channel for the Radiant Black podcast. Get us to 400, and that's when we're going to be doing the giveaway for the Radiant Black hardcover, like the year one hardcover. We have a brand new one, unopened, that we're still going to give away. Only U.S. Canada,
sold out.
Because
they're sold out.
Yeah, exactly. Tariffs and shipping are, if you know, you know. So only U.S. Canada, please. Yeah, all you have to do is subscribe, and then once we hit 400, we'll do a formal giveaway announcement where, you can leave a comment or something so you enter the giveaway, and we'll give it away. So we're so close, guys. Just 10 subscribers. Let's get over the finish line. And yeah, thanks so much, everyone, for joining us today. We'll see you next time for a very special crossover. Until then, stay radiant, everyone.